Alright, I'm working on some palm frond weaving, just playing around with some concepts that I'm researching online and other things, and just kind of making an archive for myself here. I'm just going to share what I'm learning so far. I live in a region where there aren't any palm fronds growing naturally, aren't any palm trees, so I was able to procure this through an acquaintance and a couple others, just to kind of play with and to have some material to work with. So essentially, I'm going to be weaving one side and then another. As you can see on this side, I've kind of started to play with the weaving pattern here, and then you can weave one side into the other like this, or you can weave individual sides, this side and this side. So I'm going to work on just weaving this side, and then this side, as you see, I already had woven it. So I'm working from the back side of the frond. I'm finding that a little bit easier, and what I want to do is I want to start off with my frond. I want to start in the third one in, okay, this third one in, and these go, they're kind of, in this particular plant, they're going to my right. All right, so I want to start weaving towards the opposite direction. All right, so by that I mean I'm going to take the third one in, I'm going to bend it towards the opposite direction and just set it down where it just goes over its neighbor and under the next one. Okay, and then what I'm noticing is that you can sit here and you can use your foot to kind of hold the leaves in place. All right. Now I'm going to skip the next one here and go to the next one and do the same thing. I want to bend it down towards my left here, and I want to flatten this leaf, okay, because they want to fold in half. I want to flatten the leaf, and this time I'm going to go over its neighbor, under the next one, and then over the end, okay, and then I can kind of use my foot to hold these in place like so. All right, and then the next one, I'm going to skip this one and I'm going to go to this next one here, and I want to just bend them down towards my left. I'm working against the grain. The leaves naturally want to go to the right, so I'm folding backwards towards the left, the opposite direction. And in this case, I'm going over its neighbor, going under, and then over, and then under to begin my weave. And then you can kind of cinch these up. I'm learning that these palm leaves are very, very dense. They're very tough. They're almost leathery or plastic-like. And so they make very good building material. I can just tell how the Aboriginal people of the rainforest and other tropical regions make use of palm fronds and other leaves, banana leaves, for shelter and clothing and other tools, basketry, because it's so tough. All right, so then I'm going to go to the next one, this next one, and then the second one. I'm going to fold down, and again go over its neighbor, under the next one, over and under, over and under. So that's the basic weaving pattern that I'm playing with at the moment for individual sides. Okay, just kind of cinch everything down. I'm gonna move things down a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to skip this one here and go to the next one, fold it down, and I want to go over its neighbor, under the next one, over and under, over and under. So just basic weaving. And then I would do this through the length of the palm frond. And what I'm seeing is that there are palm fronds or banana palm fronds that are as tall as a person. I mean, these leaves are huge, and the leaves themselves are very, very long. I'm just working with a small leaf here, but it's just, again, good practice, you know, just to get my hands on some of this material in case I ever have to do this for real. And I'm gonna get this down here like so. I got it bent down, and I think I'm gonna do one more. Okay, so I want to skip this one, and then go on to the next one here. I'm gonna fold it down, go over its neighbor, and then under and over, under and over, like so. all right, until I run out of space. Okay, and you kind of cinch these up to make them tight. Okay, so now I want to lock these off, but before that I'm just giving myself a little bit of a room here, and I'm going to go ahead and snip this in. Probably find a use for this end, or weave something smaller out of this here. I'll set that aside, and then now I'm going to start to lock this off. So if we start on this side, I'm going to use these snips to hold everything down. What I can do then is now I can either fold the leaf up like this, or I can fold it the leaf under like this. Okay, just from a concept to begin to lock the original weave in place. So I'm going to fold over to match this side here. Okay, so I want to fold the leaf down so that it is parallel to the direction of the standing leaves, and then I want to start my weaving pattern on the leaves that are going to the left, and all I have to do is in this instance go over and under, and then over, and then there's another one. I guess this one would go under this tiny bit here. I don't think it really matters. Okay, and then you can kind of cinch things up and get them tight to lock them into place. Okay, and then I would go up the next leaf that's going this direction to lock it off, and go down, make it parallel to the one that I just started with, and then go over and under and over. Okay, and now things are starting to, the leaf wants to kind of hold its shape by itself right already, so that's kind of cool. That's working out. Okay, and then with this here, I'm just going to go down, and this next one doesn't have a whole lot to grab hold to, but that's okay. And then I'll keep this over and under, like so. Just cinch everything as best we can. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over a little bit and work on this side. So this side I already worked on. This side now I'm going to work on and try and kind of finish things off. Okay, so I folded all these down. This doesn't have much to grip onto, and that's okay. For the most part. Okay, and then we've got this one that should be just way over here. That should be going over and under, over and under. Like so. Okay, so what I want to do is now I can start to fold these to lock them off, going the opposite way. So for example, this one here, this one on this side, this one on this side here, I want to, then I can fold it up like so, and then I can thread it into my weave by just tucking the tip under one of the existing weavers that I've got going on, and that'll kind of hold that in place temporarily, or at least until I can lock it off more securely later. Okay, so then going back the other way with the same concept, I can start to fold the leaves upwards, making them parallel with these leaves that are going this way, and again just still doing the over under pattern, and then each consecutive one doing over under or under over, depending on which on where it's at in line. I don't know if you can see that. I know I've got a straggler out here, and that's okay. I'm gonna deal with that in a minute. And again, just fold this up, fold each one up, and work on whether they go over or under the next one. I'm just working with the itty bitty tips, and that's all right. They're gonna be kind of scraggly anyways. All right, and then this one here, I fold up, Don't give me much, but this, things are starting to lock off. Okay, so we're just kind of getting. I'm just basically just playing around here. Nothing. I'm not trying to make anything in specific, but just kind of playing around conceptually with manipulating the leaves. Okay, so you see how I folded in this last piece over, and these almost match the one coming up from the bottom. Okay, and then this one here, I want to fold up and then lock things into place. Like so, and then I can just kind of march up each one and folding it. And then what I'm discovering is that as I'm locking these, I can always fold these in the next direction or the opposite direction. So once I come to the end, like I'm doing here, come to the end like I'm doing here, then I'm kind of stuck with, this is just going to leave me with just one, which is fine. But then I can kind of go back down. I can go back down the opposite way. All right, and then I could fold this in and fold this into and push this into a weaver to lock it into place or to make it look nice, to smooth out the edges. At the ends here it would be the same thing. I can kind of fold this back on itself now that I've got this weaver tucked in, and I can tuck the weaver in like so. So again, I'm nothing fancy, and I'm not a master at this at all by any means, but I'm just trying to learn and discover and play with these leaves and see how they function. I'm gonna flip this one over and see if I can get it up. I can get it, tuck it in the back side here. This leaves here. So again, just using this concept of folding and tucking, I can pretty much make a loose mat, a loose weave, something like so, that could be used to make a shingle or something to lay on. And again, from what I'm seeing is that larger palm fronds have, they're closer together, so the weave would be tighter, and they're much wider, they're much more broader, so it'd be a tighter mesh in between. But for just playing around now, just to kind of discover how these leaves, how these function, this is good enough. So, this is kind of basic palm frond weaving.